Hey, what's up? Knolly Williams here, your success coach. And hey, we are talking about Mentorship Masters Spotlight. And today we've got Charles Lee. Now, Charles Lee joined us at Mentorship Masters about a year ago. If memory serves me correctly,
Mm.
I've had a few nights sleep since then. But Charles Lee, he was in the IT profession. He was an IT professional for many, many, many years. I'll let him talk about that. And he had a different calling, a different passion, and he decided to listen to the sort of the song of his heart. He got into real estate. It was a little scary. He got into it part time, okay, and now he's a full time real estate agent here at Mentorship Masters. So, hey Charles, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Knolly. Good to be here, man.
All right. Hey, one of the things I love about you, Charles, is that we have about the same profile. You know, when you look at our personality, it's about the same. Isn't
Yeah,
that crazy?
yep, it is.
Yeah. So we both have sort of an engineering sort of way of thinking. And I guess my first question for you, Charles, is before we even get into how you got in the business and your background and everything, is for guys like you and me, we've had to learn how to do this business a little differently because we don't always love being around people all the time, and it's okay. That's all right. But how have you learned? Have you had a challenge with that? How have you learned to do business with your personality profile?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's interesting, Knolly, because like you said, I mean, we both are very similar in personalities, introverts, kind of, we like to put processes in place and work out the details of things. Um, and I know a lot of people, when they think of real estate agents, they think, oh, you got to be, the loud salesperson out there, talking to people all the time, which just isn't the case. I mean, I've been successful, as you're aware, doing things that really fit my personality. And that, that's more of, some of the uh, postcards, for example, letters, for example, to my sphere of influence, leveraging other people, leveraging buyer's agents when necessary. So putting processes in place to generate leads, and then leveraging others if necessary to go out and be the face in front of leads if needed. But I could step it up when I need to, certainly. If I need to talk to somebody, I have a great time doing that. But yeah, I'm just not the loud talker, not the guy that you take to a party and it's going to be the center of attention or anything like that. That's just not me. But you can still be very successful in real estate. You just got to find those ways of doing it that really fit your personality.
Yeah, so many people don't snap onto that, Charles, because, like you said, they feel like they have to be the life of the party or they have to put on this persona. And you talked about recently when we were at a dinner together, you talked about that you were put in this class and you were told to crank out a bunch of cold calls, and that just got under your skin. Talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of classes like that. I think if you go to real estate classes, and that's kind of how people think of it is, just get out your phone, take your phone and just go through your contacts and start calling people, um, without even knowing sometimes what am I talking about, what am I asking, and I think it's important to be able to do that with maybe your sphere of influence, people you're really close to, you want to stay in touch with. Um, but those type of classes, those type of environments, um, for me anyway, kind of put me off. I just thought, I don't. This isn't me. I don't feel comfortable doing this. And that's one of the things we talk about in Mentorship Masters. And quite honestly, one of the reasons that I joined you, Knolly, at EXP is because you talked about there's many ways. We got 27 ways to generate leads, right? There's many ways to go about generating leads in real estate that doesn't involve just picking up that phone and cold calling people, and especially if you're not comfortable in doing that, and that doesn't really fit your personality. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
love it. I love it. Yeah, thanks for speaking to that, Charles. So let's rewind a little bit because
sure.
we need to let people know about Charles. So where are you from? Where were you born, and what was the trajectory of your life before real estate?
Yeah. So I was born in Dallas, um, and spent the first, pretty much 20 years of my life in the Dallas. Actually, grew up in Plano when it was a small town, and now it's a pretty good size. But pretty much spent like the first, I'd say about 20 years of my life there, and then came to Austin, went to school in Austin. Went back for a couple of years to Dallas, met my wife, Miriam, there in Dallas. Kind of funny, she's actually from Austin, but she was working in Dallas. I'm from Dallas and had been to Austin. But anyway, we were, I was fortunate to hook up with her and get married. And we decided to come back to Austin and really make it our home. So we did that in 1990. We came back to Austin in 1990. She was always working at the time in the insurance industry. And I came back and went back to school for a little while and got a degree in computer science. I had a previous degree in economics, but decided to get my degree in computer science, computers. This was 1990, 1991, basically. Things were starting to happen in the Austin area, especially with technology. And I thought that's going to be a great career. And it turned out it was. I stayed in IT from about 1992 until last December, the end of 2019. Built a very good career in that. Worked at kind of all levels of technology, from starting out as a developer to managing teams and groups, and had a very successful career. So that's really kind of my background. But then in the IT industry, I just started to kind of burn out on that. Just felt like I had done everything that I was going to do in that. I wasn't just kind of losing my heart for it, really. A few years ago in 2015, I was starting to think that way about, okay, what's next for me in life? I'm not just going to sit down and do nothing. That's just not the type of person that I am. What's next? What could I do that's a career, not just a part-time job? And we had bought and sold houses, property throughout Austin over the years. And I always found that very interesting. Real estate, I thought was a good way to make money, not only primarily as buying and selling, but it just led me to, hey, I could be a realtor. That's something I could be very interested in doing. I could be a realtor. It's something I felt very comfortable that I could do. And so I pursued my license in 2015. And as you said earlier, started doing it as a part-time deal. Found that I had, enough success with it where I was confident in myself that if I took it full time, I would be successful with it. And, things just kind of fell into place. The cards aligned in 2019, and, joined you at EXP with Mentorship Masters. And by the end of 2019, just said, bye-bye to the IT job and started doing it full time. It's been a heck of a year. It's been a weird year, obviously, but it's been a good year.
Yeah, it's so interesting, Charles, because you were I call you like an IT mogul, or you were a IT manager. You
Yeah,
manage people, you were
yeah,
over teams, you were over projects, and then it almost seems like you kind of shrunk. Your world got real small, and now you're working for yourself, more or less
hmm
by yourself.
yeah.
How has that been different for you though?
Oh, I mean, it's night and day, For 30 years, I went into an office, sat in either an office or a cubicle, and have people all around me working, with people constantly. Well, I say it's night and day. I mean, there are similarities, even when I'm working now, although I'm working as an individual, and my outcome is dependent on what I put into it now, not dependent on what somebody else does or how a company does, which I like that. That's a great feeling. But I still use some of my old, ways of doing things. Even when I'm working with a client, we're working out the time frame to getting their house ready to sell, or I'm working with maybe contractors that are trying to help them out or something. I'm still using those planning capabilities that I had. I'm still using those management skills that I have in order to really help the client, get their house ready and list that house and sell it for them.
Let me ask you this. That's very interesting. So, how different is it from going from almost 30 years working, W-2, working for someone else, showing up, being you had autonomy in a sense,
Yeah.
because you were so trusted that I'm sure your bosses, if you will, would kind of leave you to your project and you got things done.
Yeah.
Um, how different is it reporting to yourself and finding that motivation to actually get it done without really having sort of the boss, if you will, to report to?
Yeah. It's not that much different, honestly, Knolly, because even though I might have had a quote unquote boss, I was never one to need somebody else to motivate me to do something. I mean, I always, there was never anybody harder on Charles than Charles. I always was motivating myself to do better, no matter what it was. So I never really needed that. But it's certainly, to me, it's just a freer feeling. I mean, I got up this morning, did all my, prayers and meditation, did my exercising. I'm not concerned about, what time am I getting to the office or something like that. That's just a great feeling to me. I know what my effort needs to be for that day, for that week. I know when I'm going to do that, when I'm going to do my lead generation. I know when I'm going to make my phone calls. I know, if I've got clients that I need to meet with and those types of things. But I can schedule all that out in time frames that fit my schedule. And that to me is really the benefit of this type of career, is being able to really work your schedule, fit your schedule, and have the freedom to do that, which is great. It's a really good feeling.
Yeah, because a lot of times, Charles, when you hear people talking about becoming an entrepreneur or becoming a 1099, independent contractor, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of apprehension. It's like, but you're speaking to the other side of it, which is there's a lot of freedom also. There's pros and cons. There's a lot of freedom, and for you, it seems like the pros outweigh the cons.
Yeah, I mean, it can be, it can be a curse to have that kind of freedom also, right? I think, and there probably also are some people that just kind of relax too much. They don't, put their schedule. I've got a calendar here in front of me with the daily, things that I'm going to accomplish for that day. So, and that's kind of the person I've always been. At the beginning of every day, I jot down what is it that I have to take care of today? What do I have to get done today? So freedom can be a curse if you allow it to get to you where you don't do anything. But to me, it's just a very good feeling that I control my destiny. And yeah, I never really had fear when I did leave my job. as a full-time employee. And believe me, I wasn't in a retirement position at that point. So there definitely some financial concerns there that I had to deal with. But I've never had fear about it. I mean, I've always had confidence that I'm going to get this done. I'm going to be successful with it. I've got a great mentor in Knolly Williams, and we're gonna make this happen. I'm not concerned about it at all.
Yeah, I love it. I love it because a lot of times us introverts, we can get. I mean, because we see other people doing it a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
we're like, well, will this work for me? Now let's speak to this, Charles, because there's a lot of people. They get up every single morning and they dread going to work. In fact, they hate what
Yeah, I hear you.
they might have. You can relate to that.
Oh yeah.
At some point, you do it so long that you say, is this really what I signed up for? And is this really why I'm on the planet? Speak to those people that are like, hey, I'm thinking about getting into real estate, but I've got this cushy thing over here that's a guaranteed paycheck, but I'm miserable. What would you say to people like that?
I would say take a good hard look at that, and think about, is that really worth it to you? Is it worth it to you to be miserable every day, to go sit in an office somewhere or whatever that job is, just to get a paycheck? If you're capable, and obviously you are if you have a successful job and you've been able to keep a job for a while, you can be successful in real estate as well, right? You've just got to believe that you can do it. But I would say take a hard look. How much more time do you have as this physical being on this planet? Do you really want to spend that time, that valuable time, in a position that you just don't like, that you dread going into, that's just probably making you physically ill anyway, certainly mentally ill? I mean, I know it did for me. I had times when, I just felt down about it. And even to the point, I just kind of physically felt bad about it because it just wasn't, my heart just wasn't in it anymore. And I don't have that feeling anymore, right? I haven't gotten myself back up to that income level yet, but I know it's coming. It's going to happen. And I feel a heck of a lot better every day going into my office here.
It's interesting too, Charles, because when you look at your personality profile and you look at my personality profile as we did them in Wealth Dynamics, they almost are, when you overlay them, they're almost identical.
Yeah.
And so, this whole idea that you can be really any personality profile on the planet and succeed, in this business, especially when you have the right mentor. A lot of times, unfortunately, a lot of these agents get into a company where they say, hey, read this book written by so-and-so, and that person that, 95% of the books are written by a certain personality profile that we won't mention. And so they don't, they have questions about whether or not they can be successful, but you've proven it. And here's the thing that I want people to understand. Charles Lee is actually building his own organization right here at Mentorship Masters. You've got what, 5 people already, Charles? Almost.
Working on the 5th right now.
Yeah, working on the 5th. And here's the thing, guys, if you're watching this and you're like, hey, I'm looking for a great mentor. I'm looking for somebody that's like a project manager, somebody that's got the back end systems, that's got the organization, that's got the internal motivation that can help me succeed. Charles Lee is a great guy to contact and sponsor, be your sponsor. If you're not already at EXP, or you've been considering joining EXP, or you've been considering joining Mentorship Masters, look at Charles Lee as your potentiality to be your sponsor, because he's got the right stuff to help you succeed. Charles, I have another question for you. The question is around this whole idea of lead receiving versus lead generating. Because I hear a lot of agents that are like, are you going to give me leads? Um, what would you say is the difference between someone else spoon feeding you leads and you actually learning? Because what I teach is I teach you how to generate your own leads so that you're not like the lion in the cage that can never be set free. Why? Because
Right.
they don't know how to go hunt, because they've never learned. What would your take on that be?
Yeah. Teach them how to fish. Don't fish for them. Right. Yeah. My take on that, and there are certainly, companies that will do that for you, and just give you the leads. You pay money for it, no doubt about it. Right. You're going to pay more on a monthly basis to get those. Um, but my thought on that is, you're probably really not learning to be successful in the long run there. I mean, because if those leads dry up, then that's that funnel of money for you, and those funnels can always dry up, right? So if you've just been fed leads as opposed to generating leads, you probably really haven't learned how to be successful in the long run in this business.
I love it. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's all about success because and this is a lifelong thing. How do you feel about your success, Charles? Do you feel that like you'll always be successful no matter what market?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'll be successful whether it's real estate or not. I could be successful in anything, but in real estate, I'll be successful. And it doesn't, the market doesn't matter to me. Could be a seller's market, could be a buyer's market. I'm still going to generate leads in whatever measure or means I need to be able to be successful in those markets. No doubt about it in my mind. I just have that. That's my mentality. I'm gonna be prosperous no matter what. I've already set that in my mind, and that's what I'm gonna be.
You mentioned earlier about this idea of being able to get up in the morning and do whatever you want to do, and for
Mm-hmm.
you that starts with prayer, meditation, maybe a little exercise.
Mm-hmm.
How important is that? Because as a steel,
Mm-hmm.
so as they call us, um, we're not supposed to be that. I mean, we're just like nuts and bolts and brass tacks. But you've learned the other side of it. So talk about that.
To me, it's just I like having. I'm a routine kind of guy, right? You know, go to bed at a certain time, get up at a certain time. Do things on a consistent basis. So to me, it's just kind of a settling way to kind of start my day. Come in, wake up in the morning. I do get the coffee started first. Don't forget that. Um, but then come in and sit down in here, do my prayer, do some meditation, just kind of arrive in this moment, be aware of what's around me. Um, and it's just a real settling feeling for me, to kind of feel good to start the day, energy. And then after that, yeah, we'll do some type of exercise, running, walking, a little weight training or resistance training. That's my gym back there. Gym office combo I'm in.
I love
Um, so yeah, it's just a great way for me to kind of keep that consistent regimen and feel good to go start the day.
Did you ever see, I mean, what kind of foresight did you have around this? Did you see when you were in your career, maybe midway in your career as an IT guy or toward the end of the career, you actually having the kind of lifestyle where you made your own choices on what you did every day and you woke up when, of course you can wake up whenever you want, but you're a guy of routine and,
Yeah.
and, and you're highly disciplined. So, did you ever see the lifestyle that you're living now being your lifestyle?
No, no. I mean, I think I always wanted it, but I never saw it. I mean, I was pretty much just felt like I'm a 1099, or sorry, I'm just a W-2 person. That's just what I do. I go to a job every day. That's just that's how I saw it. I mean, I thought I'm gonna, someday I'll retire.
What was the catalyst though? So what was the catalyst that got you? Because I talk to people
Yeah.
today that are in that situation and they just don't see a way out.
Um, well, I mean, I will say, my lifestyle kind of changed. Our kids, we have 3 kids, and they are older now, so they got to an age where a couple of them are married. The last one's in college, so they were able to kind of start supporting themselves. But I just, I got to a point where I felt like it's just not worth it for me. It's not healthy for me to continue to go do a job that I'm not interested in doing. I don't have passion for it anymore. And honestly, I mean, I looked at my life and what do I got left here? How many more years do I have left here? Do I want to spend this doing what I'm doing? Or do I want to build a career, build wealth, build a career, build a kind of a company, if you will. I consider I run a real estate business, right? We're brokered through EXP, but I run a real estate business. So I think in the back of my mind, I've always had that feeling of I want to, be an entrepreneur. I want to have a business of my own. But I just never felt like I was ever going to get there. But it finally just got to a point where I felt more comfortable that, I can do this. Real estate is a great way to do this, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
Bottom line.
I love it, man. You made the decision and it has paid off.
Mhm.
For those of you watching, if let's say you're brand new to real estate, you're looking for that father figure, the guy that can help you to really get your business going, Charles Lee. Now, maybe you're an empty nester. Maybe you have already, your kids have already grown as Charles has, or you've retired recently and you're like, hey, what do I do next? What's my next step? Charles Lee can help you. So we've got his contact information down below. He would love to talk to you and sponsor you here at EXP if that's your decision. Now, any closing words, Charles, that you have to share with us?
Yeah, I mean, like you're saying, Knolly, if anybody is really interested in real estate, especially if you're somebody that's kind of an empty nester, maybe a retiree, and you're thinking, what do I want to do? I don't want to just sit around, do nothing. I would encourage it. Yeah, absolutely. Real estate to me is a great way to kind of build that business, to start that second career, if you will. And I know I've got several years now part-time and certainly full-time under my belt to be able to help you out. And I do. I try to help a lot of newer agents all the time. But kind of my parting words would be, if you're really considering it, to me, there is no better place than at EXP, and no better place in EXP than under Knolly and Mentorship Masters. I've had several agents tell me that recently, that we're kind of a family. We support each other, so you're going to get a lot of support, day in, day out, to really help you be successful. But don't wait. If you feel like you're just not happy in what you're doing, don't wait. Put a plan in place and make it happen.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate you saying that too, Charles, because what we haven't said is that when Charles joined when he initially looked at Mentorship Masters and EXP, when he looked at EXP, he filled out the application and then he got cold feet. He went back to, because he started with a different company. We won't say the name, the initials are KW. We won't say the name of it, but he started at a different company, and it was a little bit like, this is kind of weird. I'm not sure if this virtual thing is for me, even though you came from the IT background. So you kind of put it on the shelf, and then you waited for several months, and then you said, okay, let me give it a shot, and it's been good for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's kind of odd because, for those who aren't aware, EXP is a completely virtual broker. No physical offices. We have the capability to go into kind of offices if necessary, but that's really not how this company is set up. We're a virtual company. We have the EXP world. And yeah, from an IT guy, you would think I'd be the first one to jump on that. But yeah, it was a little bit odd to me in the beginning. Just trying to log on, like, what is this thing? And, what if I want to talk to somebody? What if I want to sit in front of somebody physically? How are we going to communicate with each other and stuff? So yeah, it was definitely odd for me at the beginning. But once I got into it, leaped into it, started to make my way around in it, man, I found that, and I've told you this before, that the interaction that I have with agents now is so much more than I had at a brick and mortar physical broker. There's constant, you're constantly online. We've got the EXP world. We've got Workplace that we use. I can't tell you, I talk to agents now every day, especially on referrals. I've had some leads in other parts of the state that I've been referring to agents. And it's just great. It's great.
You told me after you joined that you feel more connected now than you've ever were at the brick and mortar.
That's right. Yeah, I do.
Well, Charles, we thank you for your time. You've been a great guest today. This is Mentorship Masters Spotlight, and you went from what I call a dead end job to, it was a good job. It was a good career for a long time, and then it wasn't. And you leaped in to real estate, and you're rocking it, and it's only going to go up from here. So thank you, Charles.
Thank you. Thank you, Knolly. Appreciate it.
God bless you, brother.